What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar and welcome to the top 10 Pokemon that I don't want in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, this video is going to have a little bit of controversy to it because I don't want these Pokemon in to change up the competitive format, and for only that reason. I love the vast majority of the Pokemon on this list. However, I want them gone to see how the competitive VGC and Draft League format will change with them gone. If you don't know what I'm talking about, obviously with Pokemon Home, only Pokemon that are in the Galar Dex are able to come into Pokemon Sword and Shield, meaning that we will obviously be losing some very key Pokemon to a lot of different aspects of the competitive format. Now, as I said, the top Pokemon that I want gone for design, hate, or anything else like that would be completely different than this list. This list is strictly to change up the competitive format and see how it would be with these Pokemon gone. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into the first group of Pokemon that I want gone. The first group of Pokemon that I want gone would relate to VGC, and that would be every single Pokemon that fall on the Chalk Team format. What that means is there is a very standard team that have been floating around since Gen 5 Gen 6 called Chalk. It is Celesteela, Heatran, Amoonguss, Landorus T, Kangaskhan, and then a filler Pokemon. It used to be like Xerneas back in the unlimited days, and it was literally the most annoying thing because it was so common everywhere that it just completely killed so much viability for so many other Pokemon. And not only are all 5 of these Pokemon very good, what that means is that it would also take them out of the singles format, and these are all also very good Pokemon in OU and in their respective tiers. Lando rules the OU metagame, Celesteela rules the lower tier metagame for Trick Room, Heatran is super common in OU and in Draft League, Amoonguss is one of the most bulky grass types that there are, and of course Mega Kangaskhan probably won't be there anyway because Megas will be gone. My main hope with this is to take away the standardized teams that were brought so often and make it to where you don't have to worry about somebody bringing a chalk team, and it actually makes team building harder because typically what people did in VGC is they would just say, okay, I check Lando, Celesteela, Heatran, Amoonguss with all of these different aspects of my team, and then that covers the big standard, and then I can focus on the lower, like not as common things. And I think that would make Sword and Shield a lot better for the VGC format. The next set of Pokemon on this list are things that rule the OU metagame, mainly Magearna and Greninja. This also along with Lando T, but Lando T falls in with the chalk, so I went ahead and just cut that out of this statement, and I'm only talking about Magearna and Greninja. These two Pokemon are some of the best Pokemon in the tier, with Greninja being able to be Protean and be one of the best wall breakers in the entire tier, and Magearna being able to do pretty much whatever it wants to with Trick Room, Calm Mind, Shift Gear, Double Dance, Assault Vest. It can even check some of the best offensive Pokemon in the game in Greninja. It makes it to where without these, I think that a lot of other Pokemon would be super viable again, like Keldeo would able to do really well in the OU tier. I think that without these Pokemon, a lot more different glue pieces could be added together, and I really hope that these two Pokemon are completely gone in Pokemon Sword and Shield. The next group of Pokemon, the Tapus. I really want the Tapus to be gone. I feel as though they promoted a very unhealthy standard core that can be ran almost anytime. Tapu Koko with Tapu Koko Hawlucha Rain is super common. Tapu Bulu plus Kartana is super common. Tapu Fini can just be splashed onto so many different teams because it's so good at being like a taunt defogger, and in draft leagues it's one of the best bulky waters and bulky fairies that there are. I also think that Tapu Lele promotes a very standard-esque psychic offense core with like Mega Zam and things of that nature, meaning that without these Pokemon, Hawlucha will see a massive drop Kartana might even see a little bit of a drop if it's still in. There might be other fairies that can rise up to the top, such as maybe Diancie or something along those lines. If Tapu Fini is gone, and I think if Tapu Lele was gone, other bulky psychics might just be better. It's really hard to explain, but I definitely think that without all of the Tapus, there is a bunch of other Pokemon that can rise to the top and be super interesting, especially things like Reuniclus, for example, could probably be OU because with its Trick Room aspect, it can cover what Magearna used to do. With its offensive aspect, it can do what Tapu Lele does, and with its bulk, it can even be setup threat. So I think without Tapu Lele, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, and Tapu Bulu, we can have a really nice offensive change up with the OU tier and in the Draft League format. The next Pokemon that I want gone specifically is Celesteela. Now, we can also group in other Ultra Beasts with this, but I would love to see Celesteela gone. Celesteela in Draft League format is one of the most versatile Pokemon, as well as one of the easiest Pokemon to build around, just because it is so fat. It does so many different things like setup, be bulky, be offensive, things of that nature, that all you really need to do is have a really good electric immunity, and it's super easy to build around. So I definitely want Celesteela gone in Pokemon Sword and Shield. If that means that I lose all of the other Ultra Beasts that I love, like Necrozma and Buzzwole and Naganadel, I'm okay with that, just as long as I get Celesteela out of the game. The next Pokemon on this list is Excadrill. I want Excadrill gone for so many different reasons, but the main reason that I want Excadrill gone is because I do not want a repeat of Black and White where it is just pure Weather Wars the entire time. We all know that we've already seen Tyranitar in the game in the trailer. That means that I don't want to have a pure Weather War every single time. We've also seen Hippopotas, meaning that Hippowdon is in the game, meaning that Sand is going to be super good. We've also seen Pelipper, meaning that Rain is going to be super good. So the last thing I want is for all of OU to be either Weather or just legendary setup spam. So in order to get rid of this, I want to get rid of some of the top weather abusers, one of them being Excadrill. On a very similar note, it pains me to say this, but I want to get rid of my favorite rain abuser in Kingdra. The reason being the exact same thing as Excadrill. I don't want Weather Wars, and if Kingdra plus Pelipper is allowed, it can be super spammable. Maybe we get another Swift Swim user that isn't as good. Maybe we have like Golduck, which becomes the new prime weather abuser, and we have Stoutland, which becomes the new prime sand abuser, and that would make it so interesting. When was the last time we saw Golduck in like UU? Never. When was the last time we saw Golduck drafted on just a pure rain team for offensive capabilities? Literally never. So I think that without having the combination of Excadrill and Kingdra, it would nerf weather, but it could also make it more interesting for low tier weather abusers, and I think that would be absolutely phenomenal to see going into the Sword and Shield metagame. This next Pokemon is kind of sort of a UU staple, but also a really good draft league threat, and I think without it, it could bring up a bunch of other really good low tier fire types, and this Pokemon is Infernape. Without Infernape in the UU tier, it loses a lot of offensive momentum because it's a very good U-turner in the tier and a very good setup mon in the UU tier with Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, Vacuum Wave, and Mach Punch. In draft league format, it is also very good at being a nice fast lead rocker, pivoting, as well as wall breaking with its amazing move pool. I think with Sword and Shield getting rid of Z moves, this Pokemon is already going to take a pretty big hit because it's not going to be able to break through a bunch of different things that it already could in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So by taking it out of the game, we might be able to have a little bit more fun with certain things like Darmanitan. This next Pokemon is another very interesting mon, and I guess we can group other forms with it. However, I'm going to say Alolan Muck, as well as all the other Alola forms. I've moved past the Alola forms. We're in the Galar region. I don't care about Alolan forms, literally at all. All I want are my Galar Pokemon. On top of this, by taking out Alolan Muck, we're getting rid of one of the best pursuit trappers in the game, as well as one of the best low tier grounded poison types. What this means is that certain other really offensive dark types might get a little bit more spotlight to be a pursuit trapper for some of the really good psychics like Reuniclus. Some easy ones that come to mind right off the top of my head would be Bisharp. Bisharp is phenomenal, however, typically you would run Alolan Muck in any draft league scenario because Alolan Muck has better sustainability with Gluttony plus a berry plus recycle. It has better offensive capabilities because it has a wider move pool, and it is able to just break through a lot of different things and a lot of different wall cores and set up on things easier than Bisharp could. So without Alolan Muck, we allow other awesome dark types to shine through. This next Pokemon is a little bit of a selfish reason. However, I want Cobalion gone. I want to Thanos snap Cobalion off the face of the planet. Why, you might ask? It is one of the few steel types that is faster than Linoone. Meaning, if you don't know, my favorite Pokemon is Linoone, meaning if Linoone is in the game, that's one less check to it. One of the best checks to it, in fact, meaning that if Miss Magius and Gengar, which Gengar is in the game, but if Miss Magius is not in the game and Cobalion is taken out, there's one check to Linoone. Linoone will rise to the OU tier, not having Landorus, not having Magearna, not having Cobalion, and it will be able to wreck shop so much easier, and that is something that I want more than anything. The last Pokemon on this list is going to be none other than the VGC metagame champion right now, Incineroar. I want Incineroar gone just because it is the #1 Pokemon in VGC right now. There were some tournaments where Incineroar was used on up to 75% of the teams. That is absolutely insane. By getting rid of one of the prime Intimidate users, Fake Out users, and Pivoting Mons in VGC, this can allow for a bunch of different Pokemon to shine again. I remember back in Sun and Moon VGC, I believe it was VGC 16, I think, Arcanine was one of the best bulky fire types because of Intimidate plus Priority. Incineroar was better than Arcanine because it got Fake Out. I would love to see Arcanine get more usage in VGC. I would also love to see other Intimidate users get some really nice usage. For example, maybe Stoutland could become useful in VGC. Maybe Salamence could become more useful in VGC, but I definitely think that nobody would pick something other than Incineroar because of its Fake Out plus Intimidate combo in VGC. Well guys, there you have it. Those are the 10 groups of Pokemon that I want gone for Pokemon Sword and Shield. If I could have it my way, I would have the entire Pokedex. However, since I know I can't, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look on the positive, and I'm trying to think about how exciting it'll be to have new metagames and how I would want the metagame to adapt if it were up to me. With that being said, guys, go ahead and leave me a comment down below letting me know what Pokemon you want gone to change the metagame of Draft League format, OU, UU, or your favorite playstyle of Pokemon. And guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.